Would you believe that this is all happening again? I mean, this is the same thing we always deal with and go through with our favorite films, and hold on, let's just take it back a second and start at the beginning.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Now, folks, there is no doubt in my mind that you've heard about this new Warner Brothers merger. All sorts of things are happening because Warner Brothers is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so one of the parts of Warner Brothers that we like to talk about here on this channel is DC Comics. Now, the DC Comics brand has been near and dear to my heart since the beginning. I've been a Batman fan my entire life, love Superman, and a lot of other superheroes as well. That love translates to other mediums. So I'm in my 30s, and I grew up watching Batman the Animated Series, Superman, Justice League, all sorts of great, wonderful shows. And I've also been privy to watch really interesting superhero films. Grew up with Batman '89, the Nolan trilogy, and more. But in 2013, everything changed when we turned into the Twilight Zone, aka the Snyderverse. And the Snyderverse started with Man of Steel, as you all know, but it also started in a bad place. Critical response, box office, it was never positive until one film in 2017 came out, and that one film was Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was a solid flick. We reviewed it here on the channel years ago, and we said very positive things about it. So a couple years later, Wonder Woman got a sequel, Wonder Woman 1984. If you want to hear the review, check it out, but one of our main criticisms was the fact that Wonder Woman took advantage of Steve Trevor, who she thought was Steve Trevor. Simply put, Wonder Woman slept with a guy against his will, and, well, no one had a problem with it. Now, DC Films is headed by James Gunn and Peter Safran. If you don't know who James Gunn is, he's famous for films like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, Slither, and more. But at DC, he's directed a little film called The Suicide Squad, which was a sequel slash reboot slash soft something or other to the other Suicide Squad film, which nobody liked, which was dark, gritty, and bad. Now, the trend with all these superhero movies being dark, gritty, and bad is none of them made any money. So they're rebooting them all. And that means Wonder Woman as well. And, well, it's not going to be too pretty for Wonder Woman's director, Patty Jenkins. So instead of me trying to tell you about it, let's just read her words directly, because this is another case of a salty celeb with too much power and their ego goes to their head. Folks, before we get to that, make sure you have your bell notifications turned on to all. You're subscribed to World Class Bullshitters. Hit that thumbs up button to let YouTube know you like us. And if you're feeling generous, and we know you are because you're all wonderful people, click one of those links below. Get yourself a comic book, join our Patreon page, do whatever you want to do. WCBS is here for all your needs. Now, on with the video. Wonder Woman 3 may not be happening, but it turns out it wasn't due to Warner Brothers. According to The Wrap, writer and director Patty Jenkins walked off the project after her ideas for the film were met with skepticism. An insider claims that Jenkins let Warner Brothers co-CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy know they were wrong, that they didn't understand her, they didn't understand the character, they didn't understand character arcs, and they didn't understand what Jenkins was trying to do. Apparently, it all came to a head when Jenkins sent an email to DeLuca that ended with the link to the Wikipedia definition of character arc. Jenkins directed both Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984 and was due to return to the franchise alongstar Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman 3, but she's said to have submitted her treatment for the film just a few days ago. Word spread quickly that the upcoming sequel had been canned. Although the decision was said to have come under new leadership of James Gunn and Peter Safran, it turns out they had nothing to do with the decision to reject Jenkins' treatment, the incident that's at the heart of their beef with Warner Brothers. Instead, it was reported that DeLuca and Abdy who decided not to move forward with Jenkins' version of the film. It's thought that Warner Brothers executives felt it was the wrong direction for the franchise and asked Jenkins if she would pitch another idea. Jenkins refused, instead choosing to exit the project entirely. Apparently, Jenkins specifically didn't want to hear what Gunn and Safran had to say about the project, despite them not being involved in the decision not to move forward with the treatment. She just doesn't want to allow them to have a seat at the table, to have an opinion on something new that she might come up with, explained an insider. At the moment, Gal Gadot is still attached to Wonder Woman, and the sequel hasn't been completely ruled out. However, it looks though as any plans with Jenkins at the helm have gone out the window. So, let's talk about this for a second, because I think I can smell some Brie Larson in the air. She doesn't want them to have an opinion on something. Patty Jenkins, have you not heard the old phrase, opinions are like elbows and assholes, everyone's got them? Well, don't be an asshole right now, because well, you kind of are being an asshole right now. The asshole in the situation. Look, lady, we all watched Wonder Woman 1984. That movie fucking sucked. I don't think it's the studio's problem that they don't get what you're doing, because you don't get what you're doing. Or what you're doing sucks. Again, Wonder Woman raped a guy. This is a superhero film. This isn't a joke. This isn't me hyperbolically speaking. No, this is straight up. Wonder Woman used magic to take control of another guy's body and make herself think it looked like Steve Trevor. She had sex with him. This guy in the film comes to and does not know what has happened to him. He has been raped by Wonder Woman. Now, Patty Jenkins wants to make the next film. What's next for Wonder Woman? How much further can you take it? Hopefully, not any further. What, is she going to become Jeffrey Dahmer and eat Steve Trevor in the sequel? Well, you don't understand. The first one is about his death, the second one is about his resurrection, and the third one's about his consumption. Patty Jenkins, what the fuck? Now, if we're going to take it back a minute and probably figure out what's going on, it's just bruised egos. Oh, I don't want you to have a seat at the table. You're the director. They're the heads of the studio. Tough shit, lady. Eat the shit sandwich and like it. I don't get why these people, these directors, these actors, all these people that are artists think, I'm above this, I'm above that. No, you guys live in a weird artistic medium where you have to make money. And the Snyderverse and these DC films do not make money. It's not a fucking chore to make a comic book movie that doesn't flop. For some reason, DC can't figure that out. Even Black Adam, and I love The Rock. I think he's awesome, big fan. But goddamn, even The Rock's electricity and positivity couldn't convince people to go out and see Black Adam in droves. It was just... That is the nicest thing I can say about most of these films. But if you want a list of them to roll by, they probably won't. I hate most of these movies because they haven't been that good. I'm tired of trying to convince myself, well, Man of Steel is actually pretty good if you look at... No, it's not. That ain't Superman. But Justice League, no, come on now. We've seen better Justice League on TV. Yeah, but Wonder Woman, that's the exception. That was a pretty good one. But the follow-up, no thank you. Now, I can't imagine why Patty Jenkins... Well, I do imagine why Patty Jenkins can't handle a differing opinion. Look, lady, you didn't invent Wonder Woman. You didn't reinvent the wheel. You didn't really even make Wonder Woman the film that likable. Gal Gadot is likable as Wonder Woman and shit you didn't direct. So, what? You think you're going to be the linchpin that keeps everything together? No, I don't think that Patty Jenkins is as important to filmmaking as Patty Jenkins thinks she is. She stepped away from Star Wars. Well, hold on a second. Creative differences. Did she walk away from that one too? Did she want to tell some bullshit story and Kathleen Kennedy had to be the voice of reason? No, I don't believe that at all. They have their shit in disarray over at Lucasfilm, and this is a separate issue. But Patty Jenkins has just lost out on two big genre pictures, and I'm interested. Not because of the movies that we were going to see. I don't really care about Wonder Woman 3 because the second one blew, but about a big property like Wonder Woman being left in the dark. I'm so amused by this whole DC shakeup because it hasn't been working in 9 years. We're going on 10 years of the Snyderverse. 10 years of trying to convince ourselves that these movies are good. These movies are worthwhile. No, they're fucking not. They're really, really not. Aquaman was probably the best of the bunch, and that's not a good movie. That's just a great experience and a lot of fun. The actors in the DCEU are the thing that works. Henry Cavill is a good Superman, the best since Christopher Reeve. Ben Affleck is a good Batman, the best in a while. Gal Gadot, it's up to debate. Who's the best Wonder Woman, her or Linda Carter? You know, Linda Carter, old school, love her. She's probably my favorite, but Gal Gadot carries the mantle very well. Now, that you got some shitheads on the Justice League like Ray Fisher and, Ezra Miller, the Nut Bar. I'm not going to be too sad if those guys go away from DC films. I'm not really going to be too sad if most of the actors go away. We never got a Green Lantern. We're still missing out on a decent amount of other DC characters. A reboot, a reset, whatever it is, can't come quick enough because it's been shit for 10 years, and I'm glad that people are finally realizing it. And no matter what happens with Wonder Woman 3, who directs it, if it gets a reboot, it's up in the air. It can't be worse than Wonder Woman 1984. That movie was objectively bad. Go watch it. Go tell me what you think. So folks, most importantly about all of this is I want to know what you think. Patty Jenkins, I don't want them to have an opinion. This woman seems so petulant. She walks off the project, she sends Wikipedia links to the definition of character arc, and then what? She implodes? Like, is she going to run down the street and start complaining about DC films and this and that? Look, She doesn't know James Gunn or Peter Safran or what they're going to do, but she's probably going to feel pretty stupid if what they do turns out good and she makes a stink the whole time. Like, look, you just didn't get your way, and that's okay. Not everyone gets their way, Patty Jenkins. And right now, you don't get your way. And that's okay. There's always tomorrow. There's always the next picture. You can always go make something else. You have that pull. You have that power. So, folks, don't cry for Patty Jenkins. Don't cry over that spilt milk. Nah, wipe that shit up and clean off the table because this is a clean slate for DC. It's about damn time. Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here and, well, it's man versus machine and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.